We're so excited. I am here talking to one of my friends, Sam Singh. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she's been in sex work for now how long?
8 years total.
Okay, so she's been in sex work for 8 years, recently on OnlyFans for the last couple years, and she has a great story because she was actually raised in a very strict household, and she considers herself like the black sheep of the family. So I would love for you to share a little bit about you growing up. So when you say strict household, what were some of the things that happened in your
Oh my
household?
goodness. So my parents were very, very rule driven, very modest. Like, you must wear long sleeves, long pants at all times, no matter what the temperature is outside. So I grew up part of the time in Florida, so I was so used to it being
Oh,
hot there.
oh
When I
yeah.
traveled everywhere else, I wore long sleeves, and people were like, "What are you doing?" So, like in high school, I would wear something smaller underneath and walk out of the house with like a jacket and sweatpants on and change when I got there. So I
Yeah.
already started out being deviant before I was old enough to be that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, still to this day, when I go visit them, I have to wear very covering clothes. They know what I do, but that's one of their things, very modest.
Yeah. So do you think it's a cultural thing? Because are you Eastern Indian?
Yes.
I thought so because I have another friend who has the last name Singh. So I figured it was Eastern Indian background. Do you think it's a cultural thing or more just something for your parents?
Uh Honestly, both. I think my parents would be like that regardless of any cultural background, because that is just how they are. I mean, my mom or dad are so cute together. They're still married, so good for
Oh,
them. But
that's
they're
so,
like, they're still shy when they hold hands in public, and they've been married
oh,
ever. So
that's
I
so
think it's
sweet.
partly them and partly the expectation of the culture and how we portray ourselves.
Yeah. So they know what you do now. So what was the reaction when you first told them what you were doing?
Oh my goodness. So this is a story here, and I did not tell them. They found out, which was
Oh,
horrible. I should have
yeah.
told them. I
Yeah.
was dancing at a club roughly 45 minutes away from their house, and my dad's church group actually came in the club one night while I was there, and they took pictures of me while I was on stage and
Oh my
sent it
gosh.
to my dad, and
Oh my
they're
gosh.
like, "Is this your daughter?"
Oh my
So then
gosh.
my dad calls me the next day, and I asked him, I was like, "Are you mad?" And he goes, "No, I'm pissed." And then we
Oh,
didn't talk for a while. They did not take it well.
yeah.
And eventually we were at a dinner with my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles and my sister, and my grandfather at the end of the table stands up. His People gossip, everybody knows at this point. He
Yeah.
stands up and he looks at me and he looks around the room and he's like, "Honestly, I don't have a problem with it. She's paying her own bills and making her way through life and school, so I think it's all right. Do what makes you happy."
Oh,
And
that's
since then,
great.
everybody kind of eased up, and but my grandparents lived in Germany for a while, so
Yeah.
they are a lot more open-minded than the rest of my family.
Well, good for your grandfather. I love that he did that for you and he stood up for you.
He was the first one that really stood up for me, so that was
Yeah,
amazing.
that's really great. So you started off stripping and you still do strip, is that right?
I don't house dance anymore. I used to do that. Really, my last day was in 2021 officially. However, I kind of stopped in 19 before coronavirus even happened. I was fed up with the club. My OnlyFans
Yeah.
was ramping up. So I was like, you know what? If I can make money online or featuring, I don't need to go in the club all the time.
Yeah.
And then coronavirus kind of pushed me out because all the clubs shut down. Everybody knows that. I tried to
Yeah.
go back several times throughout 2021, kind of like relive the moment, but it's so different than it used to be. So at the moment, I'm only doing feature bookings and events at clubs, but not house dancing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you obviously make enough money with your OnlyFans that you don't need to. And you were able to pay off some really big debt, right?
Yes, I am super blessed for that. That came with a lot of hard work. During coronavirus, which was amazing, my husband had a heart attack. So he was in the hospital for a while. I could not visit him. They would not let me in the hospital, no matter what. So we were on Zoom and they're freaking out. What are we going to do? They
Yeah.
took him into surgery the next day because it was bad enough he had to have heart surgery right then.
Yeah.
Well, we got through that. It was very emotionally draining. It was very physically draining on both of us. And then we got the bill and it was near 200 grand. And we sat down with the attorney, like, what are we gonna do? Should we file bankruptcy? And I really, at that point, I guess I changed from, oh, OnlyFans is good, bill money, side money, to I'm going to really invest 8 to 12 hours a day on it. And it actually paid off in the end.
Yeah, definitely.
I did have a few other platforms. I feel like those crop up like, I don't know, what's the right word? Bees, they crop up like bees. There's 10 million different platforms.
Yeah. So, but OnlyFans was kind of your main one that you were able to use to pay off the debt.
OnlyFans is still to this day my main platform. I think a lot of it has to do with the popularity of it. They seem to keep public eye better than any other adult anything in the industry. Strip clubs can't even hold that much attention in the news. So, I mean, Hustler came and went. That was a movie that existed. I feel like there was another one recently that was set in a strip club, but OnlyFans really does a great job with their PR presence and staying in a household name.
Definitely. Right. Which is great because it helps, you know, people like us be able to work from home and not have to go into the strip club. Not that stripping's bad, but I'm sure you've seen benefits of being at home and not having to go into the club.
Oh yeah. It's a lot easier to be sober.
Yes.
I don't feel bad talking about that. Anyone who knows me knows it's true. I used to drink a lot every day, but I worked at clubs that had drink quotas. You had to sell so many drinks a night. And then when people are buying champagne bottles and rooms and tables with a bottle here, it's so easy just to lose track. And before you know it, you've had 8 drinks in one night. So it's been a lot easier being at home. I mean, there's weeks I go without drinking, and when I was in the club, I could never do that.
Yeah, well, your environment affects you, obviously. And now that your husband is recovered from his heart surgery, I'm sure you like being able to spend more time with him as well.
Oh yeah, kind of. We work together, so I actually married my DJ.
Oh yeah.
From my first club. So we worked together for a while before we actually started dating. And then when I was featuring, we would go on the road and he would DJ my shows for me.
Oh,
so we're used to being together all the time. And now that we're doing OnlyFans, he's doing all my photography and videography. So we still continue to have a very good business personal relationship. But we're together all the time and have been since we've gotten together.
Oh, I love that. So you had $200,000 worth of debt, and as of just a couple months ago, you paid it off completely.
Yes, I was literally shaking when I did it. I hit the button and I got the confirmation number, and I logged out and logged back in, and it said the account was deleted and closed. And I was
my gosh,
almost cried.
Oh my gosh, that's such a huge accomplishment because no one really wants to have to file bankruptcy. I mean, yeah, it does happen, and it is sad when it happens. And so if you can prevent that, which is obviously what you did, that's huge that you prevented having to file bankruptcy and having that medical bills, because a lot of times medical bills aren't even wiped away with bankruptcy. Not all of it is gone.
We didn't know. We really didn't know what to do. Looking at that paper with that number on it, and the hospital was working with us, but they still wanted us to pay it on a monthly basis within like 4 years. So the payment just monthly was astronomical. So
oh my God.
The goal was pay it off as quick as possible. We're going to do what we have to do.
Yeah, definitely. So you paid it off in how long?
Let's see, that was in August 2020, and I just paid it off in January this year. So it took about a little in between a year and a half and 2 years.
That's amazing that you're able to pay that off. $200,000 worth of debt, like paid off in a year and a half.
I can't believe it. It's still insane to me that that happened. I never expected the online business to go that way. Like I said, I've had OnlyFans since late 18, early 19, and I've been online selling content on other sites since like 16, and it was always nice side money, play money, paid for my wedding and stuff. So I never expected it to be able to bring in as much as it did, and I'm kicking myself for it now. Like, I should have put in this amount of effort earlier.
Well, that's okay. You're here now. And where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, honestly, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. I would love to travel more. So hopefully the world opens up to me as far as travel restrictions go, because I would love to kind of get into more of a travel photography now that we've taken some photography classes, and I can do like content in the hotels around the world, and we can go to different spots and take photos. But as far as sex work goes in itself, I really have no intentions of retiring. I will do this until I don't need to work at all anymore.
Yeah.
It's my industry. I love it. I would not change that.
That's awesome. So what do you love about what you do?
It's very free. I feel a sense of freedom in terms of I am my own boss. I can set my own boundaries. And that was something that was less prevalent in the strip clubs than online, but still is. If you work at a retail job or something, if a customer is being rude or out of line, you can't just walk away. But in a club, I can just be like, all right, I'm going to move on to the next guy. And online, it's even easier. There's a block button.
Yes, that's so much easier.
There's a lot of mental aggravation that I don't have to go through being in this industry. I set my own hours, set my own schedule, set my own costumes, and I have freedom to travel all over the country. I've been to, at this point, 44 states.
Wow.
So Colorado's actually not one of them.
Colorado's
one of the ones I'm missing. But
oh my gosh. Yeah, you got to come out and see Colorado. It's beautiful. We can have coffee together. Be super fun.
I have heard Colorado is beautiful, and I still want to get out there soon. But yes, I do love the ability to travel. I have issues with staying in one spot for very long. And it's definitely empowering. I feel like I own me.
Yeah.
I don't have a boss. I don't have people telling me what to do. I get to run my own business, essentially. So that is something that I really find enjoyment out of.
And you started to do your own podcast. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
I did. So I have been featuring, I think my first competition was in 16. It was Pole Dance National Championships in 2016 was the first toe dip in the feature industry. So I had worked with these people for a while. I'd gone to the expos every August, and recently I was offered a position at Night Moves magazine as a journalist. So I now am kind of a liaison in between webcam modeling and porn and the stripping industry, because while we're under the same umbrella, there's a little bit of a rift in between us. So I kind of am prevalent heavily in both right now. So I am writing articles about the webcam girls and putting them in the magazine that's for strip clubs and kind of tying everything together.
I love that. Yes, I loved my interview with you. You did a great job. So
I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah, I know. It was so good. I want to rewatch it. So where can fans find you?
Well, OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/xsamsingh, but I have every social media, every website that I'm on at xsamsingh.com. So I've made it easy, and my handle on every website's the same, xsamsingh. Just put a .com at the end and you'll find my entire link tree.
Okay, that's great, because if you want to send that to me, we'll make sure that everybody has that here on the interview. And that's the same for all your social medias too, right?
All of my handles for everything are the same.
Okay, well, I know people are going to be looking you up, and thank you so much for just taking a few minutes out of your time to share your story with me.
Thank you so much for having me on.